Swear to God. Say you swear to God. Put that on, say, put that on Allah. Say wallahi, bro. Say wallahi.
It really shouldn't come as a surprise that a Wonder Woman solo movie is in development as part of the foundation of the DCU helmed by James Gunn. As obvious as it may seem that a Wonder Woman project is in the works, it's still reassuring to see confirmation, especially given the treatment the character has received, or rather hasn't received in recent years.
Move this man.
While these aren't the only key assets crucial to the DCU's longevity, Wonder Woman was listed among the heroes set to help lay the foundation of the universe, which would be a no-brainer given how Wonder Woman unofficially leads the superhero community alongside Batman and Superman, being a member of DC's Trinity and all. We don't know much about the DCU's Wonder Woman currently, but I think there's still a conversation to be had on how DC Studios can elevate the character and differentiate itself enough from the DCEU iteration to resonate more with modern audiences. While I'm hoping for a script that is crafted with care and given enough time, the sooner we get a banger theatrical Wonder Woman movie the better, because people like to play with Wonder Woman's name too much. People will do as much as they can to discredit her influence or pull off the most insane sneaks when it comes to the superhero Mount Rushmore. Can you imagine a sane human being putting freaking Deku before Wonder Woman as one of the top 4 comic book superheroes?
Yep, this is... Okay. Yep.
It seems like Gunn is gravitating more towards fleshing out and exploring Diana's mythos and possibly portraying a couple of her supporting characters before going full throttle with a live-action solo movie. Paradise Lost, I'd assume, will give us a good basis on where Diana gets her morals and ideology, serving as a prequel series exploring the political intrigue of the Amazons and possibly their background and mythological roots. We know at some point in the timeline, the general public discovers the existence of Themyscira and the Amazons either through Wonder Woman becoming a public figure or through Cersei's machinations prior to the events of Creature Commandos.
I think people are aware of Wonder Woman. I think there's some belief that it exists, but I don't know how worldwide known it is. James,
I think it's coming at a time at a point in time when people have heard of Themyscira. Now people are starting to believe that it exists, but still some people don't believe the story of, you know, an island of all women. It's just becoming, people are just becoming aware of it.
It's a real place. We know that now.
I know it's a real place, but what kind of place is it? An island of all women? Come on.
Regardless, it seems that the Amazons' influence on man's world is a relatively recent development in the grand scheme of things, especially considering they're typically depicted as thousands of years old, having spent that time isolated on Paradise Island, or at least for enough time for there to be a professor at a university who specializes in everything publicly known about Themyscira, to the degree of gaining the attention of Amanda Waller.
Dr. McPherson is a tenured professor at Terrebonne University and the world's leading scholar in Themyscira,
which I imagine isn't all that jarring for the general public of the DCU, as metahumans have been around for 300 years by this point. In the context of this universe, meeting a metahuman is more like running into a celebrity, unlike in real life, where someone would most likely freak out at the sight of one. A cool idea I'd like to see integrated to some capacity is adopting what Greg Rucka did with his Wonder Woman run pre-New 52. Wonder Woman being more of a diplomat and a UN ambassador for Themyscira would allow her to become involved in the wider DCU, not often seen by other flagship characters, since her mission is so focused on spreading the teachings of the Amazons to invoke peace and love amongst humanity. And it would help combat any misconceptions surrounding Themyscira as a nation, since the public already knows it exists. Everyone has their hopes and concerns when going into new adaptations of any character. I think there are some things the DCU should focus on more when it comes to crafting a new iteration of Wonder Woman, taking into account how fantastical this universe is and how to best stand out from previous versions. First things first, avoid the New 52 origin of Wonder Woman in the Amazons. For Wonder Woman specifically, her being the 50 billionth child of Zeus doesn't really make her any more interesting. I personally don't see the appeal in changing her origin from being made of clay and blessed by a group of Greek gods and goddesses, each bestowing unique skills and qualities, to simply being a child of the king of the gods. Like,
yeah, welcome to the club, pal.
Keeping in mind that the title of Chapter 1 is Gods and Monsters, I think it's significant to feature a character whose mythological roots come from goddesses and who is capable of fighting monsters. Wonder Woman can easily be the cornerstone of exploring that aspect of the DC universe. In regards to the origin of the Amazons themselves, I don't think I need to explain why having a bunch of women sleep with men 3 times a century, only to kill and drown them once they've served their reproduction purposes, and putting the male babies into slavery while the female babies get to live on Themyscira is problematic. Kinda weird to have the female role model in superhero media to come from a place filled with such wretched people. Would be a bit difficult to connect with them in a show like Paradise Lost. Traditionally, the Amazons are reincarnated souls of women who tragically died because of men's actions, but for a brief period in the New 52 canon, that was changed so that they could come off as the weird ones.
What is this, Riddler, stupid or something?
To help mitigate any potential problems, I think it'd be in DC Studios' best interest to perhaps get some prominent Wonder Woman comic writers involved in any upcoming projects. The DCU isn't shying away from directly adapting certain comic stories or even bringing on prominent DC writers to be part of the creative team. Tom King, for example, is among the group of writers who are helping build the DCU alongside James Gunn. Not sure how directly involved he is with the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow movie, considering he wrote the original book, but I think it'd be cool to have someone like that for Wonder Woman. Now, I am not saying I want them to adapt Tom King's Wonder Woman run or have him involved in a Wonder Woman movie. Rather, I think they should bring on a writer who's been shown capable of handling the character in the past. I don't know if it's set in the DCU or is an Elseworlds project, but another example of DC Studios being open to adapting comic stories is Tom King set as the showrunner and executive producer of an adult Mr. Miracle animated series, based on the 12-issue miniseries he wrote. Writer Gail Simone has expressed a great interest in being involved in a Wonder Woman project at DC Studios. She was brought on as a long-term consultant for the now cancelled Wonder Woman game that was in development at Monolith Productions. Very knowledgeable on the character and has written one of the most beloved Wonder Woman comic runs. The only reason I'm clamoring for the idea of involving some comic writers is because not a lot of people actually understand or even know of Wonder Woman's mythos. Having a more comic accurate depiction would honestly help stand out from the DCEU iteration. You look at the love James Gunn has for Superman, being passionate about telling a specific story and taking bits and pieces from the source material, wanting to incorporate the heavy sci-fi elements with Lex Luthor's scientific knowledge or the cast of heroes at play. That level of fantasy and passion should especially be seen with the Wonder Woman mythology. This is the perfect opportunity to explore more of her supporting cast, especially given that the DCU is an interconnected universe built for the long run. It presents the chance to flesh out and introduce characters not yet seen on the big screen. Batman and Superman are confirmed to be getting their families and or supporting cast play a major role in their stories. The first movie in this universe depicts Clark having only been Superman for 3 years, and he's already dating Lois, his parents are still around, he has close friends at the Daily Planet, both Krypto and Supergirl are established in this universe, and he's also familiar with the members of the Justice Gang. Batman is set to meet his 10-year-old biological son Damian Wayne for the first time in The Brave and the Bold, which is said to feature other members of the extended Bat family. We're getting the theatrical, live-action debut of Krypto, Damian Wayne, probably others like Nightwing and Red Hood, so I see no reason as to why Wonder Woman can't get the same treatment. Doesn't mean it has to be done to the same extent as, say, Batman's extended Bat family roster, but a decent support group for Diana I think would go a long way, possibly showcasing how she works with others differently when compared to Batman and Superman. Another opportunity presents itself with the Teen Titans movie in development. Not much is known about the project or what the roster could look like, but Donna Troy has been given the short end of the stick in a lot of adaptations, simply due to the fact that she's barely in them. Donna was a founding member of the original Teen Titans group and a mainstay in the new Teen Titans roster everyone is familiar with. Fun fact, Donna Troy has the most appearances in Titan-centric books out of all the prominent members of the team throughout DC's publication history. Yet she's never properly utilized in adaptations of said team.
That ain't right. That ain't fucking right.
On a final note on what I'd like to see, for the love of God, don't make her villains weak. Having Wonder Woman's villains be highly capable, whether in terms of physical prowess or strategic intelligence, is a great way to demonstrate just how competent a hero she truly is. Superman out here dealing with threats just as powerful as he is, or giant monsters tearing up Metropolis. Batman is strong enough to deal with the likes of Clayface and Dr. Phosphorus. Cersei is one of the biggest Wonder Woman villains who consistently gives Diana a hard time, but at this point in time, I see no shot how Cersei in the DCU is going going toe-to-toe with the likes of Wonder Woman or anybody in her league. Most people wouldn't care to notice because her villains and supporting cast aren't explored much in media outside the comics. The Cersei stocks are in the negatives right now. I have a more in-depth video dedicated to going over the larger problem with Wonder Woman villains and how they've been nerfed in media. But there's still a chance in making her more of a powerhouse or a force to be reckoned with. You could easily give Cersei her comic origin in the Wonder Woman movie, coming into contact with the goddess Hecate that grants her divine powers and more powerful magic. You could have her or even Cheetah join the Legion of Doom down the road or something. Give me some cool fight scenes with Wonder Woman on par or hopefully even better than some of the action scenes seen in the 2017 movie, and we might have ourselves a banger. If they play their cards right, Gunn and his team can come up with an all-timer of a Wonder Woman adaptation, giving her some of the same love and treatment as they're giving Superman and likely what they'll do with Batman. But it's also just as easy to mess up. They need to do everything in their power to avoid another Gal Gadot situation because God knows we don't need any more of that in our lifetime. I'm gonna hold out hope for what's to come in the future because from what I've seen thus far, seems like DC Studios has the best of intentions to do these characters right. For the most part anyway.